What's going on, everyone? So we're back in the shop, and I think I'm going to take a little break from sparks and beating on stuff. So I'm kind of thinking I'm going to do a little teardown on this thing, and yeah, at least start my evening off on that. So let's see what we can do. So first thing, I think I'm going to pull this tailgate off and put the other one off. I got that other bed that I used the trailing arms for the 56. But yeah, that's one of my best purchases ever. I think I paid $100 for that. That gave me the 12 bolt that's in the back of this. When I got this truck, it's a 6-lug front, and somebody had an old Eaton rear end in the back of it. So I was able to get the 12 bolt out of that, the trailing arms for the 56. Now we're going to get a tailgate out of it, and who knows what else that thing's going to donate. But that was a good deal. So, but I think I can just undo like 2 bolts on one side and just slide this off, and I'll do the same on the other one, and I'll bring the other tailgate in. I'll paint it up to match, and I am going to paint the letters in here so that those stand out and try and give them a little aged look and blend it in with the rest of the truck. So I think I'm going to do that. That seems kind of fun, and it'll make the back of this look a lot better. I might pull these little lights off that are down here on the corners. I may weld up whatever holes and stuff are there. Again, that's just kind of I don't got to think too much to do those. So that'd be kind of cool. And then when I went in last night, I noticed there used to be the big whip antenna on here. So I think I'm going to patch that up. That'll be a little quick and easy. And then I'm pretty much done with this front end clip on here now. So I'll get it off so I can get this fender. I'll get that fender pulled off. We'll see if we can find another one for that. But I think when I start doing these front cab mounts and everything, it'll be a lot nicer not having this in my way. And yeah, I already got the other side all figured out. The fender gaps and everything, that's all good over here. So we got that lower panel put on. So yeah, I think this can all go, and that makes it easier to pull out this mess. So I think I'm going to pull the motor and transmission out of here, because if I put the 6-cylinder out of the Nova in here, I hate to go through all that work and not put at least a front input seal and a rear tail shaft seal. I'd rather spend that couple dollars on those seals and put this together. I don't know if this transmission works or not, so this may be something I end up doing twice. But if it does work, I'd like to know I at least put those seals in, because I don't want to have to pull it out for a $5 part. So anyway, I think I'm just going to pull all this out. We can get all that cleaned up. I'll clean up frame rails and everything and just do what I can. I don't know, maybe see if this heater and stuff works. I hate these heater boxes. I don't know, again, I'm a smooth firewall kind of guy, but again, this can all spiral out of control, and I got to contain myself. So either way, but I think just a day of pulling off some parts and pieces, and you know, if we can get all that stuff done, then we'll see what we got, if we got any extra time or not. But I think that's a good way to spend my afternoon and give me a little break from eating sparks. So I think I'm going to start. I got a little daylight, and I'm going to start with popping this tailgate off. So let's get into it. Well, we're off to a shaky start. So I got the tailgate off, but I broke a bolt here, so we're gonna have to drill and retap that. This tailgate is kind of bananaed, and big crease there, big old wave there and everything, so it's pretty sad. But my other tailgate isn't much better. I thought it was a lot better. Apparently I looked at this end of it. But we got a pretty good ding here, and this is all pushed into here. But it's actually relatively straight. So I don't know that I really want to make a big project out of a tailgate. I might be able to find a better one. I don't know. But part of me is kind of thinking I might cut from about here to here out of this tailgate, because that's all a nice section right there. And I'll just cut pretty much right to the bottom edge of this and just replace this front piece here. And then I think on this I'll maybe cut out a little window on the back side and pound that out, and hopefully we can just kind of whip this thing up and make it look a little better. It's at least straight, so this one's quite a bit worse, but Yeah, that's a little more project than I was hoping for it to be, but I don't know. It's what I got, and as little money as I can invest in this thing, the better. So I guess I'll use some time on this thing. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. So not what I had planned, but may as well. So let's get going on this thing. Alrighty, so I measured this out, and from this edge to about where the end of the damage is about 36 inches. So I think I'm going to cut this whole section and replace that with the one out of the other one. This one's, it's not perfect, but it'll clean up. Once I get it apart, I can knock these couple little dings out, but I think it'll be alright. But my plan is, I think if I cut this all the way off, I'll cut it all off on this spot welded seam here, and then from the back side I'll grind all these spot welds free and re-drill this, and I'm gonna put this on just like it would be factory. So I'm not gonna have a cut seam here or anything, so I'll just spot weld this back in just like it was, and the only seam I'll have will be here, and I think I can blend that in pretty good, and then I'll slice it on the bottom down here, and I should just be able to lay this in and just pretty much put it back in pretty quick and easy. So but yeah, these little dents and dings I'll just hammer out while we got it apart, and that should go pretty good. So yeah, hopefully this isn't too big of a deal, but I don't know. I think that's the best way to do this, so I'm gonna do it. So much for my evening of not eating sparks, but I don't know. This is all stuff, like what I'm doing is just, you know, it's what I'm doing, but a lot of this stuff can pertain to different scenarios, but it's just a matter of like looking at what you got and how can you make it work? And even if it's just temporary, this will get us by. If I find a tailgate in a junkyard, great. But I don't know, what else am I going to do? So hopefully this will turn out. Maybe I won't have to spend that money on a tailgate, or somebody else won't have to buy a tailgate. But anyway, I guess we're going to eat some sparks today. So I got all this ready to go. I'm going to cut it out and start making this happen. Well, we've got one mutilated tailgate. So no, I got this whole chunk cut out of here, and I was thinking as I was doing this, I might cut all the way around here, and this would be a pretty cool little sign in the shop or something, you know. I could paint the letters, and I don't know, I could even paint this green and make it look like a street sign or something. So I think, I don't know, somewhere along the line in my spare time, I'm gonna cut this whole center out and put that to some kind of use. But anyway, we got this thing all cut out. I went ahead and as I drilled my spot welds out, that pre-drilled this panel. These ones here I just did by hand, but I got all the corners all cleaned up and everything. And this should pretty much just drop on here, and it's going to go in pretty much like factory. So like I say, we'll just have that little weld right there, and hopefully this will work out the way my brain is telling me it will. So I think right now I basically just need to trace the length of this and cut all the other stuff out of the way and slap this thing in. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this off, and I'm going to cut it a little bit big just so that I can again kind of sneak up and make sure it fits. But and I got to beat a few dents out of this still. So we got a little bit to do, but yeah, we're making progress on her. Well, we've got two mutilated tailgates now. So now all I got to do, I'll just grind off all these spot welds, peel this metal off. Same thing, I just cut the bulk of everything out. And then there's spot welds all along here. I'll grind those down. My new panel should just go right on, spot weld in just like normal. I left a little bit of meat out here to where once everything starts fitting a little closer, I can figure that out. Same thing with this cut line here. Once this comes down, this will probably move down 1/4 or 3/8 of an inch or so. It's sitting pretty high on here, but right now we got it roughed out, so we'll peel all this off, peel that off, and we'll do a test fit. So I'm grinding and mutilating and tearing this strip off, and guess who showed up? The old UPS man. So these, I got a message yesterday that weren't supposed to be here for another 4 or 5 days, and they showed up today. So these are the cab corners for the truck. So yeah, we can get those slapped in, and the back of the cab would be done. And I don't know, this thing, there's something about this truck. It's moving along. So I'm glad to get these. So possibly when this tailgate's done, there's really not much holding this bed on here. Without the bed wood, I can pretty much just lob these bed bolts off real quick, and I could pull this off and at least slide it back to where I can get to these cap corners. So that might be something I move on to next. I doubt I'll get to them today, but I still want to get all the stuff I wanted to torn apart. But this might be a bonus, just torch these bolt heads off and slide that back so I can start working on the bed or the cab corners when I want to. So yeah, super good. Way good bonus for the day. And now I'm gonna use this motivation to get me to cut this stuff off. Well, we got everything ground out and pretty well prepped. It's still a little bit long, but this thing, and I kind of beat some of the little waves. There's still little witnesses here and there, but what we're doing, again, hopefully we'll find a new tailgate. But now this thing's gonna seat right down and fit pretty much like factory. And even, yeah, I just got to cut this excess because it's sitting up on top. As you can see, it's not quite going down over. So I'm going to go ahead and scribe my line now that everything else is fitting good. And we'll cut these. I think I'm going to cut them together with this thing on here. And then, yeah, that should give me the cut I need. And then same thing, once I get that out of the way, then hopefully this end will start sitting down. But I also got to cut the back also to get it to seat in more too. So we're super close, so everything's fitting up. All that'll smush together. So I might put a couple screws along here in the spot weld holes and just suck this thing down good and tight before I weld it on. But yeah, we'll end up having a pretty decent tailgate when we're all done with this. So I think I'm gonna trim this up and fit this in one more time. Alrighty, so it's pretty well fit in here. I got everything all kind of clamped up here. I think I got another set of these deep vice grips, and I think I'm just going to vice grip as I go along here, because yeah, it's floating a little bit there. But I think if I can get this line tacked in and get this tacked in, then I'll just start sucking this down and zapping her in there. This bottom line underneath, again, the way this is, it's a little high here, but I think once I get all this in solid, I can just kind of start hammering this edge along and just work it down and weld as I go. So but yeah, I think at this point, ready or not, I'm gonna burn it. So yeah. I think it's good enough. So we'll do that, and then we'll move on to trying to fix this big wave up here. Well, as you can see, I'm just going along, filling my spot welds in. I'm clamping and tapping everything down tight and just tacking it in. This is all lined up real nice, and once all this is good and rigid, I got a couple tacks over here. I can flip it over and start working that back edge and kind of rolling this around. This is pretty stiff metal, so it's going to take a little bit, but I think we'll get her. And again, I'm not too worried about, you know, this thing being perfect. It is a chopped up tailgate. But kind of the reason I'm doing this is these old trucks are getting to be worth a mint these days. And even just an old junky tailgate, pretty much like this, they're selling, you know, it's like $200 for somebody's garbage, you know. So I don't know, I may as well make my own garbage. And I think in the end this will turn out just fine, and it'll be a pretty decent tailgate. So I'm hoping when I go to paint this, I think I'm going to mask off these letters, and I'll leave that white in there, and it's already got some character to it. So hopefully when I paint all this, this will turn out and that'll all kind of blend in with the rest of the truck. So I don't know, it's just kind of another one of those little fun projects that, what else do you do? So I'm gonna finish welding this edge, and a couple of spot welds, we'll flip her over. All right, well, the other side welded in good, and as you can see, it's got some stuff going on here, but I think as this comes down, we'll be able to roll this edge and close up this gap a good bit. It's going to take a bit. I might have to put like a ratchet strap or something on and get it to pull around, but yeah, it's pretty high. So again, when I cut this free, it kind of sprung out, so I still kind of think I might have a bit of a gap here, but again, this stuff is, it's relatively thick. It isn't just sheet metal, so I think it'll all come in pretty all right. So yeah, I think I might go get a strap and kind of wrap it around, then I can use my big hammer and just start kind of working this in. So let's see what we can do with this thing. I think I'm going to start right on this seam, and this is pretty close here, so they're flush, so I'm going to put a little weld probably right here, maybe weld a good bit because this is going to take a little bit. So but I'll weld that, and that'll hold that, and then I can start pulling this around, and I'll put probably a ratchet strap somewhere in here and start pulling it down, and then just hammering on this a little bit, and we'll just start tacking as everything starts lining up, and we'll get this to wrap around, and hopefully that closes up the gap right here. So that's what we're going to start with. Alrighty, I got a strap on here, and we're already getting this gap. We're probably going to end up slicing a little bit off of there. Again, I did leave a little meat, but I don't know, this might turn out better than I thought. So but now we can start tacking this. I'll start pulling it around. We'll get all this edge to line up good, and then I'm going to have to beat this a little bit square right in there. But yeah, I think by the time that flattens, this is going to want to overlap here, so we may end up doing a little trimming, which is cool. I'd rather tighten up this gap. So I think I'll throw a couple tacks on there, and we'll give her another shot. Well, so far this is working pretty good. I already had to take a little slice out, and I'm going to have to do another one. We're getting our height, but now this is butting into the other one, so I'll slice a little bit more. We'll pull a little tighter, beat it a little bit more around. But we're getting there, and yeah, we'll probably just kind of work this from this end down and get it all to wrap around. This end's pretty much where it needs to be. So yeah, I'll just kind of keep an eye and make sure that we got a somewhat straight line down the edge of that, and we'll call her good. So let's keep trucking. Well, we just got that tacked in, and things are starting to flush up pretty good. This is now overlapping, so now our seam is coming together, and I have a feeling as we go down, this will just butt right together. It's going to be a little fat at that end because that is what it is. It's tack welded there. So yeah, I imagine from probably about here up, I'll have a pretty all right gap. But anyway, this is turning out all right, so I'm going to slice this off and let this kind of go where it needs to go, and we'll keep on doing what we're doing. Well, I'm pretty happy with this. We got it zapped together there. This seam from here is starting to fit, and again, the tailgate, it might have a little bit of a belly, so we're gonna, between a screwdriver and beating and working all this around, I think we can get this gap looking pretty good, and I'm just gonna go from here and just keep working my way down, and I think we're gonna make something kind of okay out of this thing. This is sealing up really nicely, so I'm just working down, and yeah, it looks fat right there, but kind of as I roll this edge in, it's just meeting right up, and yeah, I think this is going to turn out pretty good. So I'm going to keep trucking, but yeah, I mean, we got nice tight gap along there, and I'm going to end up slicing this just a little bit because it's making a little bit of a crown, so we'll get it to where they lay down nice and flat and I get some weld in there, but we are cooking through this thing. All right, we are all tacked up, and it's got a little bit of a gap, but as thick as this is, I'm not too worried about it. Again, I'm not gonna just sit and burn it. I'll keep tacking away, but I knew this end was gonna get a little fat, but it's definitely not what I thought it was gonna be. And then as we go, we got just a perfect little gap all the way along there. And I don't know, we'll know when we set it up on the truck, or I'll flip it upside down and set it on the, I might even do that. I might flip it on the floor and see how straight that is, but eyeball wise, she looks pretty good. So I'm just confident enough I'm going to burn it. So it is what it is. It's a junky tailgate. So, but we made it better, hopefully. So anyway, I'm going to zap this in. Well, we are all welded in, and yeah, it looks like we're in pretty good shape on there. Everything's all spot welded. We'll grind up the seam here, and then if I can do this with one hand, we'll grind up this backside. But that all went in really nice. I'm real happy with this. So this is definitely not what I had in mind for today. I didn't feel like eating sparks and stuff, but at least I'm not crawling around on the floor. My knees and back and everything are just kind of toast. So this was kind of a treat for the day, I guess. But yeah, so my next thing, I don't know, I got this damage up here. See if I can flip this again. Hold on. All right, so we got this great big wadded up dent here, and it's got a great big belly through here, and this is all mashed up, and I'm kind of thinking, I don't know, I might be able to do the same thing and maybe just cut a little piece out of this and fix that whole piece. So I don't know. This is the Franken tailgate. But in a way, I think for as thick as this is, and then trying to get this to look kind of okay, I kind of think my best bet is just to cut that out, and I can cut right along this edge here, and I'll cut over across the back there, just kind of like I did, and slap her down in. So I think that's how I'm going to repair this. Yeah, I think honestly it's going to be a lot better and a lot faster. So I think I'm going to drag that other tailgate over and chop it up. Well, I cut quite a bit bigger than I needed, but yeah, it's kind of funny, like this tailgate had opposite problems of this tailgate, so I'm taking parts out of pretty much exactly where I needed them from the other tailgate to fit this one. So and yeah, now I'm almost left with just my little sign I'm gonna steal out of here. So I don't know, I might end my evening by just cutting that out so I can haul all this junk out to the scrapper, and yeah. But yeah, there's my piece, and we're gonna start fitting that in. All right, I couldn't help it. I went ahead and cut this out. So now I got my street sign, whatever. I think this will be kind of cool hanging on the wall. So yeah, I'll have to clean it all up and everything, but yeah, a little extra. So now I can put this to my hamburger fund that, you know, if I'm really good and recycle and everything, I can maybe buy a burger in another year or two. So but cool, get this stuff out of my way, and then we'll get back to this tailgate. There we go, patchwork tailgate. So yeah, I think once this thing slides down on there, I'm just going to cut this off right on this body line. I'll put my weld in there, and we'll fix up all the dent. We'll give it the nice unlumpy edge up here and everything, and I think this will turn out pretty good. So I guess I'll clean up all my edges, kind of get it all figured out where I'm going to put it, cut this lip off, and yeah, let's fit this thing in here. All right, so I cut this off. The way I've got this one cut, this lip is going to come out and actually weld to the top of this lip here. So I cut this short, but this has got some stuff I'm gonna have to work out of it. This is the piece that I cut out. Maybe now you can see a little bit better how nice this is. But it's pretty thick stuff. So I mean, it's definitely takes some work. And then all this being watered up on the top, that'd be a pain in the butt. So anyway, I need to work I need to work this edge along here, and then, there I go again, flip this tailgate over. And then along here, on this inside, there's a big bubble right there. So I'll pound that down, and then this is kind of dropping in. As I pound that down, this should come up. And that'll make this pretty flat across here. But yeah, and same thing, I left a bit of a lip here. My weld is actually going to be right on this corner here, so hopefully I can just blend it in with the rest of it. So yeah, I think I'm going to just beat some of this stuff around and get it best I can, and we're going to set this in and start fitting it. I also trimmed it a little bit short so I can fine tune and get a good gap on it. So anyway, let's go ahead and beat on this thing. So I got everything pretty well trimmed in, and this is sitting here, and I just tacked both ends of this, and I'm going to cut this line together, and it should all just drop right into place, and then yeah, we should be good to go. So and again, I'll probably have to get a screwdriver in, kind of work things around. None of this is exactly straight, but it's a lot better than it was. So I think I'm going to get my cutoff wheel, we'll slice this down and watch this thing drop in there, and then yeah, we'll start tacking her up. Well, that worked out real slick. This will push down. We'll have a nice little gap there. And again, down here, we got a little bit of something I'm gonna, well, this wants to go below grade, so I'll have to kind of get a screwdriver in there, pry things around a little bit. But yeah, I think I'm gonna start just tacking it around and get it to kind of fit in, and we'll take a look at it. That tacked in pretty nice. So gap closed up really good. Everything's looking nice and straight, and I think this is good to go. I'm gonna flip it over and then figure out what we got to do with the backside. It's a little gnarlier. So this shouldn't be too bad. This side's lining up pretty good. It'll go down in, and I haven't decided if I'm gonna, I left this lip on here that's coming up, or I have the option of this one here that's going down. And I'm kind of thinking I'm going to leave the lip on the piece that I cut out, because this one on the tailgate, pretty wavy and everything, and it's kind of dishing in right here. So if I cut that lip off, I think I can bring that up and get this to meet up better. And again, it's going to be a screwdriver and tacking and clamping and just kind of messing around and trying to get this piece in there. But I think when this is all cleaned up, this tailgate's actually going to look pretty decent. So I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to first get some clamps and kind of suck this down a little tighter and scribe a line, and then I'm going to cut it off a little bit high of that, and yeah, see how this stuff fits together. So, and hopefully when I cut this little edge off, if it falls down in the tailgate, I can get it back out, or we're going to have one heck of a baby rattle. So it's I don't know, but I think that's the first step. Let's clamp her in and just see how it kind of fits as is. So I'm going to clamp this in, but I don't want the other side. It's a pretty wide, big face, and I don't want these little jaws. And they make other ones of these with bigger jaws on them that disperse the load. But I'm going to clamp this extra piece of metal in there just so I don't go and put a bunch of dents in there if I got to crank this down a little bit. So that'll help disperse the load and hopefully save some work later on. So yeah, I'll just clamp that in there, and we'll see how this fits in here. Alrighty, so it's not too bad, but it does definitely have a bit of a belly, and I didn't just crank these down to get this to touch. I'm trying to keep this pretty level, so I still got a little bit on the end to trim, and this is overlaying, so that'll let this end come down. This one's pretty much fitting in right there, so that'll seal up that gap a little bit more, and I think this lip will lay right in on the top edge of that. So I'm going to try and get in and trim that corner up a little bit. I think I might go ahead and trim this up pretty close. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and get this end to fit, tack weld it, and start getting this end down here to fit and get it tack welded. And then if I got to use something and kind of pry this up and get all this to work, this stuff will be good and rigid, and I can kind of start working this line. So I think that'll be it. I'm going to weld these in, weld that in. Well, I got to cut that end off, and then we'll start working this main line here. But yeah, we're going along. This is definitely taking longer than I thought. This is probably the only thing I'm going to get done tonight. So But it'll be done, and hopefully I can get it painted tonight too. So we better get moving on. Okay, so I got that cut out, and I did get that big curl out of there. So now I'm just going to start tacking and working and beating and hammering and just try and get this thing to flow in. It's going to be a little bit, but I think we'll get her. So yeah, I think I'm going to start on this. Well, I might. To me, I'm kind of like, if it's hard to do now, then do it, because it's only going to get worse later. So I think I'm going to start on that end because it's a little goofier, and that's where all the damage is. So well, this will all be good, but I kind of want to work on that first. So that's where we're starting. All right, a little beating and tacking, and we're getting there. So this lip, I do have a pretty good gap here. This has got to come up, and as that comes up, it does close it up. But this is also ramping up a little bit more. So I'm going to tack right up to about where it starts to ramp, and then beat this in. And between the two, I should have a pretty decent gap. So I'll probably have to kind of work that down as we go. And again, it's just, you know, you put a screwdriver in between here and just start pulling this stuff up and down and getting it to line up. And yeah, that's what we're going to do all the way down this thing, so it looks factory brand new. We are making some progress. So as I'm going, like, and this edge is all kind of buckled in here. So I actually got, that's a big tire spoon that my gap's fat enough right now that I was able to get that in there and almost use that as a dolly and kind of flatten that out and bring it out. So I'm just kind of working this all the way along, and I'll keep doing that same thing. This lip needs to fold down a little bit. This one needs to roll out, and we'll meet in the middle. And I think we'll hopefully achieve that line. But this is the inside of the tailgate, so I'm not real concerned about it. But I want to do as good as I can, so we'll keep going. But this is tedious. I definitely ain't getting nothing else done tonight. So here we go. Well, it actually laid out pretty good. And at the very end here, I did use a filler. This is just a piece of scrap that I cut out, and I was able to just jam it in there, and I'm just going to whack that off with a cutoff wheel when I'm done. But it's kind of nice to leave a tail on there. You can kind of pull it up and down as you need to get it in there to fill the gaps the way you want, and then it gives you something to hold on to even just tack it in there, because yeah, it's kind of a pain in the butt, and you drop them down inside, and good luck getting it out. So yeah, that's just something I do every once in a while. So I'm gonna cut this off, pound it down in the groove, and finish welding this. We'll grind it up and see how this thing turned out. But I can tell you right now, it is definitely better than it was. And there's one side all ground out and done. So she's not perfect, like I say. This was all wadded up pretty good. I did what I could with it, and how much, I didn't really want to spend much time on it. So but we got this in. The line actually doesn't look too bad. It's way better than I thought it was going to be. The whole edge of the tailgate, we're nice and straight. And then this side, this is where our first piece wrapped around. This was welded all the way along, right along here. And yeah. So far this side's looking good. I'm going to flip it over and grind the other side. Apparently I'm going to flip it over and weld the other side. So yeah, I just spot welded this in and went into doing this other patch, so I forgot. So I'm going to have to weld this in, and yeah, I don't even think I'm going to be able to paint this tonight. It's getting too late. So I'll weld this. I'm going to go ahead and grind this piece. That one I just got a little bit right there, a couple little spot welds there, and then yeah, I'm going to try and get this thing welded in and ground up, and I am probably done for the night. Alrighty, that side is all cleaned up. This side is finally welded in. It turned out pretty good. I don't know. I'll grind these up, and I think we're going to be done with this thing. So let me hit her with a grinder, and we'll see how it turned out. Welcome to Cobbled Tailgate. So this thing's done, and it turned out pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with this thing. So yeah, not exactly what I wanted to do tonight, but I think it'll make a tailgate. So I'm going to paint it tomorrow. It's too late to keep on going, but I am going to flip it over, and I think I'm going to spray the backside of it, and then tomorrow I can flip it over. That'll be dry, and I can actually get this side painted, because I do want to tape off the white lettering in there and stuff, and I don't know. We'll just try and do what we can with it. But that is a tailgate done. The only thing left on this box is here's my there's what's left of my tailgate that was on this truck. So we used it all up, but yeah, I just got to weld this in, so that's a nothing. So and then yeah, we'll get back to doing what I originally wanted to do. So anyway, I'm gonna flip this thing over and spray it black real quick. Well, apparently there's a different plan for me because I am out of black, and yeah, this is all I got. So I thought I had more, but I guess I'm done for the night, which I do not mind. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up and get out of here. Well, that is not how I planned on spending my afternoon, but I don't know, we got this thing done, I guess. So it all needs done, and maybe I did this to just avoid doing something else. I don't know. I did not feel like eating sparks and beating on stuff, but that's what I did. I'm ready for a break for a little bit. But I think that'll come with tomorrow. So I'll probably do what I did, or what I was going to do today, I'll do tomorrow. And that shouldn't be too bad of a day. I got some other stuff I got to do tomorrow too. So I don't know how much of this will get done. If I end up not doing something on it tomorrow, I'm perfectly fine with that. But yeah, so doing this tailgate, I mean, it's, you know, yeah, I could have gone to the junkyard and got one. The junkyard is about an hour and a half from me. So for me to go there, wander around, maybe find one, maybe not. Maybe, you know, I don't know if I'd find one that's any better than this. I had these here. I've never done what I did tonight. And I mean, odds are you may never do what I did tonight. But it's kind of a way of showing how to, like, look at what you got and make something work. And I mean, this tailgate can be temporary, it could be permanent, I don't know, but until I find one, it'll look decent on the truck. So yeah, it was, you know, time is money, but nobody pays me to watch TV, so I figure if I'm out here doing this, it's worth something. So anyway, that is done. We'll spray it tomorrow. That'll look pretty good on the back of this thing. I'm going to patch in that little hole. We're going to pull the nose off of this thing, and I don't know, I might go ahead and pull the motor and transmission. I need a day off of sparks, so, and I do need to pull this bed off so I can get these cab corners in. So hopefully if I got enough time tomorrow, that will happen. So we'll see. I get easily distracted. So anyway, again, hope you got something out of this. It is what it is. But anyway, this truck's coming along, and yeah, well, tomorrow will be our 1 week out of my 2, well, I'm 1 week and 2 days of tinkering on this thing. So I gave myself 2 weeks to get all this metal work done, and I think I'm still on schedule. So we'll see how it goes. And I say, I don't know, if it's going along the way it's been going, maybe I'll give myself 3 weeks. I don't know what, I might be driving it in 3 weeks. So my intent wasn't really to make it run and drive, it was just to fix this metal, but who knows. So the more I do, the more I can sell it for, or I don't know, maybe I'll keep it and use it as a shop truck. I don't know, there's something about this thing, it is starting to grow on me. So I've already had a few people ask me about it and kind of what I'm thinking on it and stuff, and I really don't know what it's worth till I'm done with it. So anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and yeah, we're gonna hammer out some more whether we like it or not. So stay tuned.